Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ryan, a former commando from the UK. Today's date is Wednesday, the 19th of October, and we've got some quite alarming news coming in. It is alleged that there was a Russian kamikaze drone attack in Chernihiv, which is a northern part of Ukraine, slightly northeast of Kiev, the capital, guys. Now, it's horrific. We're going to get into a little bit of a map study where that location is, why it might be significant, and yeah, we've got a few of the articles to get through. So thanks for being here. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and yeah, guys, welcome. I have really appreciate your support. Now, two of the three victims in this kamikaze drone attack on the city of Chernihiv, which happened today, are in intensive care. All right, this is a major city, just a normal city, just like what me and you would walk down every other day, especially myself living in the northeast of England. Okay, now according to Krylo, the deputy head of the president's office, no fatalities have been recorded as of yet, but earlier today the explosions were reported in Chernihiv Oblast. According to Operational Command North, 2 Russian missiles were shot down above the village of Kipty in the Oblast. So within that area, they've already shot down 2 Russian missiles. So seems to be targeting that area specifically. We've understood that this is a method that Russia likes to use to strike fear into the civilian populace. So they turn against the war, and they just would rather. How it works is they would rather Russia gain their control over an area if they deprive them of their safety day in, day out. Okay, it's a tactic that Russia have used for generations now. Okay, make sure the local populace are downtrodden beyond belief, so they just go, you know what, to hell, give them what they need. All right, but we spoke about that in separate videos, guys. Now, during Russia's attack with missiles and kamikaze drones across Ukraine, explosions were also reported in Kiev, Vinnytsia, and Ivano Oblast. In Ivano Oblast, a power plant was hit by a missile, according to local government. So they're trying to take out power structures, you know, feeding energy to various different buildings and civilian buildings as well. You know, if they can hit them hard so they don't heat their homes, they can't cook food. You know, taking away basic amenities in life. It's really nasty stuff, guys. Okay, but if we look at the region here on the map, as we can see, the area we're looking at is here, Chernihiv, North Ukraine. Just a normal town, guys, normal area. Not massively big, but you know, it's a prominent enough place. If we look on Google Maps, we have a bit zoom about here. We can see this is just a regular city. Okay, people minding their business, going about their day-to-day work, getting buses, transport, just a normal city. All right, I've been to places all over Europe that look just like this. Look, there's people just wanting to go about their daily business, and it's not a type of place that you would expect a missile strike to happen. Kamikaze drones dropping down and trying to kill local individuals. It's a truly horrific thing. I mean, I walk down streets like this that look like this every day. If you're just looking above you and see one of those things coming down on you too, and its only intention is to literally to cause massive amounts of damage and fear, then you know, you really have got problems. Look at this place. It's beautiful. It is actually really, really beautiful. Chernihiv, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Look at that. Beautiful place indeed, guys. But here's a bit of footage of what actually happened today. So you see that infrastructure has been hit directly. You got the emergency services taking care of business. Terrible. We've got armed police out there. It looks as if they're trying to shoot stuff down from the air. I don't know what effect that will have on drones. You've got to be a bloody good shot to hit one of those things, that's for sure. Emergency services out again. Bit more footage here. Is that a drone that we could see in the top left? Not too sure. Carnage. So that's literally just like the streets we've been looking at there. Regular people, guys. It looks as if it's just dropped straight in the middle of somewhere. kamikaze style drones. Obviously, they've got cameras on them, so whoever's operating these things know exactly where they're intended. They're aiming these drones to cause mass damage, and it's terrible, really. Terrible images there, guys. But that's the area, so to speak. Not too much else happening on the update in terms of this map being updated, but there is quite a bit of information coming out of what is happening on the ground, despite the media blackout. So what we're going to do later today is a bit of a map study to get amongst what's been going on in the war, guys. So you might ask the question, why? What's going on behind these attacks? What's the bigger reason? What's the implications of these attacks? All right, now we can go back in time just a little bit to the 10th of this month, where Russia lashed out, striking many Ukrainian cities with in and around 84 missiles and 24 exploding drones. So this has been a tactic that's been currently adopted over the past 10 days or so. It's causing mass amounts of problems, all right? The places they were hit were all civilian. That's the key thing to take away from this. And, the multiple power plants was hit as well, but also children's playground in the center of Kiev, which is just southwest of the region, which we've just been talking about. So they are targeting areas which aren't actively engaged in current war fighting. It's to cause mass amounts of terror within the areas. It is terrorism, isn't it, at the end of the day? We go east of Kharkiv, we can see that oblast is being fought in the counteroffensive, but that's to be expected. You're expecting things to happen there, okay? There's no news stories that's going to shock anyone too much there. But, northeast Kiev and these regions, to see these drone strikes taking place, it is going to cause a lot of alarm and distress, because people are just getting about their day-to-day business. Although Ukraine is at war, a lot of Ukraine is operating and functioning with relative normality, okay? And I mean that candidly. I don't want to make it sound like it's easy to live there, because it certainly isn't. But a lot of these areas aren't actively engaging in hand-to-hand combat. War is not affecting a lot of areas in Ukraine, although it is affecting people's mentality. So these type of strikes are designed to keep people within Ukraine, the areas that aren't actively engaged in, hand-to-hand combat, in war fighting. It's to keep them terrorized. So there is method in the madness, but it is madness. It's cruel. It's horrible. Now, most strikes seem to be timed to the Monday morning rush hour of the 10th, I believe it was, as if trying to kill as many commuters as possible. So it's absolutely bloody disgusting, guys. It's horrendous, inhumane. It's horrendous. You know, guys, how I am with the morality of war. I'm massively for the human element, okay? Now, from a human rights point of view, the attacks were inexcusable and will likely be ruled as war crimes. In my view, they should be. From the battlefield perspective, the Russian armed forces just dropped hundreds of millions of dollars to achieve basically nothing. So in these areas, there was a lot of different areas that were striked, certain areas in Kiev. But if you look at all of the areas in which they were targeting, just civilian areas, guys, okay? We can see that these areas mostly aren't dominated by Russian troops. They're just normal people getting on with their day-to-day business, and it's terrible. It's terrible to think. Now, the invaders can't stand against us on the battlefield and thus resort to this terror, said President Zelensky. It's quite true, I think. That's rather fitting of a statement. Ukraine is providing massive levels of effective professional soldiering on the ground and dominating in the areas that they can with what they can, okay? But this is a tactic used, and it's a cheap tactic to cause alarm and distress on a mass in the regions that shouldn't really be affected by this war. Now, he said that this raises several questions. Why is Russia choosing to do this? We want to know that as well. What was it trying to accomplish, and how long can it keep this type of tactic up? Good question. I don't think they can keep this tactic up too long in terms of their resupply and keeping these munitions in stock. They allegedly, there's vast amounts of opinions on whether they've actually got the stock to be able to keep this type of barrage up. Some say that they haven't. I believe that they haven't got, and certainly haven't got an endless supply, have they? But I don't think they can keep this up for too long. The for sale answer is that Russia was retaliating for the partial destruction of the Kerch Strait Bridge, which we spoke about on October the 8th, but that's not true. It's been hitting civilian targets since the beginning of this year, guys, okay? Ukraine's intelligence said that the missile strike has been planned since the start of October, so this has been in their brains for quite some time now. Strategic and long-range aviation units received orders to prepare for massive missile strikes. The General Intelligence Directorate said in a statement that the targets were objective and critical civilian infrastructure, and that the central regions of densely populated Ukrainian cities, that they were the targets, okay? So when you think about the objectives, central points of civilianized critical civilian infrastructure within populated civilian cities that aren't really directly involved in this war were targeted. So there's only one reason to do that. That's to cause humongous levels of panic and terror in otherwise semi-normal functioning regions, despite what's going on in Ukraine in the wider picture. Now, the goal was to sow panic among Ukrainians, he said, which is what we've just been speaking about. But wasn't the only reason. Putin also needed to appease the angry hardliners who want Russia to win the war. You know, they're trying to appease people within this area, and the war hawks demanded a massive strike just like this in response to Russia's humiliating losses over the past 2 months. So we've seen in these areas here, okay, massive amounts of territory gained back, but with this type of territory gained, you better believe there will be retaliations, and if they can't retaliate effectively on the battleground here, in the trenches, hand to hand with weapon systems, man to man, then they're going to do the ugly stuff and start dropping missiles in regions where they shouldn't be. It's terrible. It's bad form, really. If there ever was form in war, then this is bad form, guys, okay? It's the low blow in a boxing match. Yes, you're in a fight. Was the low blow really necessary? It is if you're losing, okay? But still bad form in my eyes. You know, with shortages of imported parts and skilled labours bottlenecking production, it's unlikely that Russia can keep up with this rate of action for long. And that was apparent on the 10th. It stopped slightly after that with that barrage of 84 missile strikes in different areas. But we are seeing it again in these regions which have just been hit today, guys. Okay, so it's not good. It's terrible. Will we see more of these in the next few days? I don't think they'll be as dramatic as what we've seen today. I think they are going to be sporadic, and the fact that they are sporadic and they're planned and they're timed to hit certain places tells me that they're probably running out of stockpiles anywhere. Otherwise, they would have just continued what they started on the 10th. Does that make sense? So when yesterday I said something big is happening, this is probably the start of that. We've got other areas that are going to be targeted within Ukraine, but I just think it's a cheap shot that they've done this within that region. In the North region, Chernihiv. All right, what are these innocent people got to do with it? But if you got anything to say on the matter, guys, we are going to be doing an update later on today, possibly. So please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. I'm just a normal guy trying to help out a little bit where I can, okay? And I appreciate your support. Guys, if you want to support me further, please consider joining the Patreon. The link is in the description. We're on Rumble as well, and that's it. Troops, wherever you are in the world, stay safe, and we may get another update out later today if you want it. Let's go. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Peace.